Bama, welcome in on a Wednesday Hump Day 2. The hottest show on the streets, bringing you your Alabama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, your Crimson Tide. Starting spring practice in 2 weeks, Monday, March 20th, Nick Saban and Bama take the field. That journey to get back to the college football playoff and win a national championship begins in spring ball. But for right now, you're rocking and rolling right here with us. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, stop all that you're doing, hit that subscribe button, tap subscribe right now. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Crimson Tide football to subscribe as well. Because if you are enjoying what you're hearing, other people will do what other people will also. Don't forget to like the show. Tap the like button. Give us that thumbs up. Raise those like levels up. Share the show around. Get everybody checking us out right here on Touchdown Alabama Magazine right here on YouTube. Trying to get this show 50 likes out the gate to start us off here. Appreciate you guys. That daily Super Chat go $100. Daily Super Chat go $100 right there. All donations welcome and appreciated. Be sure to also turn on that notification bell so that way you miss nothing when it comes to your Bama football coverage. But got quite the amount of things to talk about this evening. We want to hear from you guys. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. And I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. SEC men's basketball tournament in flow right now. Hopefully the Crimson Tide can win the SEC tournament as it did once before and get to a high seed in that NCAA tournament. But we begin this show, John, with this, and like I mentioned, Bama football opens up spring ball Monday, March 20th, in the next couple of weeks here. And for Coach Saban, the journey to get back to the college football playoff national championship and win it all after losing to Georgia in the 2021 title, in the 2022 title game off a 21 season, but of course not making the playoff this past year. 2 years of not getting a national championship. Coach Saban trying to make sure that in year 3, the Crimson Tide are able to get that done. But in my opinion here, you look at this spring, it'll be very huge here for Alabama football. And personally, there are 4 major questions that fans, they want to have answered here going into spring ball, in spring ball. And the 4 questions, number 1, who wins the starting quarterback job between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson? There's you're in a huge transition period. A huge transition period for Bama football. Who wins that starting quarterback job there for the Crimson Tide? Both guys, Simpson and Milroe, incredibly talented. But who grabs that job? Who takes the bull by the horns there? That's number 1. Number 2, can Alabama's defense be feared again in college football? There was once a time where teams were afraid to play Alabama. Nobody wanted to play Alabama. There was a big respect factor of, oh dear gosh, we got to play the Crimson Tide. And so now everybody wants Bama. There's signs out saying we want Bama. So can Bama's defense return to being feared again? That's the second big question. Number 3, will this coaching staff, this new coaching staff that Saban has brought in, that includes the likes of Kevin Steele and Tommy Rees and Robert Bama, among others, will this coaching staff get Alabama back to the national championship stage and help the Tide win it all? That's the big question right there. And number 4, does a number 1 wide receiver emerge from this group? After last year, we were asking that question, and nobody really took over as that number 1 guy that Bryce Young could go to the well to time and time again. Now, of course, Jermaine Burton started playing better the back half of last year. Ja'Cory Brooks played better Back half of last year, you saw some of the young guys step up, Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, Isaiah Bond, but nobody just really separated themselves as that number one weapon at the wide receiver position. Alabama fans are hoping that this time around, start off in spring ball, that number one guy hits the forefront quicker or sooner. But starting this thing off with the quarterback job between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, we're in a transition time for Alabama football. And, you don't have that proven quarterback that you had with Bryce Young. You have two guys that have big gifts, big talents, big abilities, but which one is better suited to take this team and take it all the way to a college football playoff and win it? Which quarterback is better suited to take the reins, take complete control of his offense, take it from point A to point Z, and have Alabama at the end of it all hoisting the CFP championship trophy? That's the question that U.S. fans want to have answered here starting off in spring football. We know Milroe, athletic as all get out. The legs are there. The athleticism, the burst, the speed to run the ball is there. But in terms of him being a better distributor, a better pass, a more accurate passer of the football, he's got a strong arm. The young man's got a cannon. But the accuracy and the timing and the precision of that arm, where is that? We will see that in spring practice. When you look at Ty Simpson, yes, the size is there. He's now at 6'2", over 200 pounds at 203, according to the updated Alabama football roster. He's got talent in terms of his accuracy, his arm strength, his ability to put balls in certain spots in certain areas. But for Ty Simpson, it's the grasp of the playbook. Where is he there? Where is he in the knowledge of the playbook? Where is he in grasping the playbook? Where is he in terms of his mobility, where if a play was to break down, could he escape and make something happen? I understand that you had, DeMarco Hellams, former Alabama safety, who at the NFL Combine said, he said that Ty Simpson's got some Patrick Mahomes in him. Is that legit? Is that true? When certain things are said, people get really happy because they look for certain buzzwords and key phrases. But this spring, we'll be able to see for real, okay, what is Ty Simpson? So who better suited to run this quarterback position here for Alabama? A question that U.S. fans want to start having answers for beginning in spring ball. Looking into now this Alabama defense for Kevin Steele and Nick Saban. Can they get this defense back right? For so long, Bama's been first foot on defense, defense heavy, defense oriented. We lead by our defense. That was Alabama football for the longest of time. And the last few years here, there's been a defense that has steadily declining in terms of the product on the field. Now, yes, on paper will tell you this Alabama defense still, top 10 scoring defense, top 10 in several categories. But what's on paper and what our eyes have seen have deceived us. Because on paper, the Alabama defense, good. But from what our eyes are telling us, the eyeball test, this is not anywhere close to the Alabama defense that we've grown accustomed to watching in the past here under Coach Saban. So, and bringing back Kevin Steele for Nick Saban, it's, can we get this group back to being monsters, back to being elite, back to being ferocious, back to being fearsome, back to, it's that respect of, I do not want to play. I do not even want to breathe the same air as this Alabama defense. Can the defense get back to having that respectful of a standard where the opposition is just scared to death to play it? Because that's what's happening right over there at Georgia. Can Alabama snatch that back defense-wise? That's number two. Number three here is this coaching staff. And Alabama's brought in some young guys in this coaching staff. Tommy Reese, a young guy. Robert Bala, a young guy. Harding Harper in the player personnel department, a young guy. Got a lot of young guys on the staff. But they also got some experience with Kevin Steele, with Charlie Strong, back as a defensive analyst, with Ken Wisenhunt, former NFL head coach. He's in here. So you've got a mixture of youth, you've got a mixture of experience, but is this the coaching staff? This new group of hires here, can this group push Alabama back into that CFP and win a national championship? And with the philosophies of each of these hires gel well together. Like, will Tommy Rees's philosophy mesh with Kevin Steele's? Will the philosophy of Hardin Harper, in a player personnel department, will it mesh with everybody? Will the philosophy of Robert Bama as an inside linebackers coach mesh with everybody? Will all the philosophies work together to get one common goal, get this program to a national championship? That's the third question that Bama fans will look to have answered here. Start off in spring ball. And for number 4, this wide receiver room for the Crimson Tide. Like I mentioned, it was receiver by committee last year. No number one guy really truly emerged. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs, a running back, led you in receptions with 44 or 444 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yes, Jermaine Burton played better the back half of the season. Yes, Ja'Cory Brooks did his thing, midway through the end of the season. Yes, there were some good moments from Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, and Isaiah Bond as freshmen. But this year, this upcoming season, starting off with spring ball, there's a number one guy emerge that whether it's Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson, they can go to the well to that receiver every single time and build that confidence and build that continuity with that receiver. Does Bama have a number one guy coming out of this group? So that's going to be interesting. I mean, all of these 4 questions are 4 big questions, but Alabama fans are saying, can we get an answer to this? If we can get answers to these 4, you guys will feel a whole lot better going into the summer, entering fall camp, and of course, the season in the fall. But we take our first break on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We get to a dialogue with you of the Bama faithful right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling right here to the action from the break. Number 1 forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button as well, making this your place to talk Bama football. All donations welcome and appreciated also. Phone lines open right here, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. We are 8 likes away from 50, so continue to hit the like button. Stop what you're doing. Tap that like button one time. Give us a thumbs up right here on the show. 8 likes away from 50. But we take this call right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, what's happening here on Hump Day? Give me some good news, man. I'm running around here like a chicken with his head cut off. Come on.
Well, Wagon, Alabama men's basketball preparing for the SEC tournament. They have made their way to, I think it's in Birmingham this year. So they've made their way right up here to Birmingham for this SEC tournament. Alabama got the number 1 seed. We'll see how they do in the tourney. It'll be awesome to check that out right there. Bama spring football practice starts March 20th. I mean, Coach Saban and these guys are ready to get back out here to start the journey of trying to get back to the college football playoff, win a national championship. So spring ball takes shape or takes flight in the next 2 weeks.
Who does Alabama play Friday? Mississippi State or who is it? Florida? Ain't that right? Who's it supposed to be?
I think it's Mississippi State. I think it is Mississippi State.
Yeah, maybe Alabama can. Maybe Alabama will play a little better away from home, or maybe they got maybe the home course got them jinxed a little bit. I don't know. Maybe they really need to win this tournament. Don't you think so?
I think so. I think after the season you've had, the best season you've had since the Wimp Sanders era right there. So you need to win this SEC tournament, going to the big tournament as a 1 seed. I know a lot of people would put Bama as a 2 seed, but going to this tournament as a 1 seed and try to make a Final Four run. So I think winning this SEC tournament is a big deal here for the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, it's a big jump forward there. It'll really help them out in the NCAA tournament, I think. But anyway, all y'all looking good. Hello to everybody. I've been running around here trying to type and 3 or 4 other things going on. If I miss somebody, I hate it. All y'all make this show the hottest show on the street, hottest show in the country, greatest show on earth. Ain't no doubt about it. I love all y'all. We'll try to be back on Friday, get ready for this basketball game, watch it on TV there and root the Tide on. They need to win this. Y'all be safe. Have a great week and a safe weekend. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate the President Waylon getting us started here on a Wednesday. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Chris, man, calling out of Dallas.
Chris, what's happening, man?
Hey, Carly, man, I got 2 questions. I know this is kind of far-fetched, man, but I listen to your show all the time, and I'm just curious, man. Like, what is it going to take? Are we ever going to get Scott Cochran back? And what's the deal with Jeremy Pruitt? Could you answer that for me, please?
Okay, so in terms of Scott Cochran, don't think he would be back in Tuscaloosa as much as I would like to have Scott Cochran back just for the energy and the motivation of it all. But I don't see Scott Cochran back. But in terms of Jeremy Pruitt, here's what I'm hearing on Jeremy Pruitt. Now, as of right now, according to a report from ESPN's Chris Lowe, Tennessee has not been able to right now trace anything to Jeremy Pruitt directly in terms of the recruiting violations that happened during his time as a head coach there. Now they got 4 of his former assistants. They directly linked them, and they basically said, "Hey, we'll plead guilty. You got us." They have not gotten Jeremy Pruitt. So right now, it looks like Jeremy Pruitt could walk out of this thing unscathed. And if that happens, if he walks out unscathed, then what I've heard would be he would come back to Alabama possibly as even a position coach. Now, if they get Pruitt with something minuscule and small, then what I've heard would be Saban would come back with his team and discuss, okay, what y'all got Pruitt with, would that follow him to Alabama, or would that be solely just tied to Pruitt? If it's just solely tied to Pruitt, then Pruitt would come back to Alabama as an analyst. What we're looking at right now is nothing from the situation in Tennessee has been directly linked to Pruitt. So if Pruitt's hit with something, it would be of the smallest proportion, and at the worst, he's back at Alabama as an analyst.
Right. I got you. I just, like I said, when I heard Charlie song, like, nothing against him. I know he's a great coach, but, man, I just want that Pruitt energy back as well, man. So I was just sitting over here on Pennsy like, please let him come back. Please, man.
I mean, Chris, right now, it's starting to look very optimistic that Pruitt can be in Tuscaloosa. Now, of course, the ruling of all of this could take place either latter part of this month or mid-April. But once that ruling is fully made known on Pruitt, if Pruitt walks away from this with nothing on his record, Chris, college football is going to be mad as a hornet because he's going to come back to Alabama ready to work.
Right. Understand. Well, that's all I have, man. I appreciate it, man. Roll Tide. You guys are doing a good job. I'll drop them in the a donation deal, and I'll see you guys later. Roll Tide. Later.
Appreciate Chris. They're calling from Dallas, Texas. I'm telling you, people, if Pruitt's hit with nothing in this whole thing, because right now the NCAA has not traced anything back to Jeremy Pruitt. So if Pruitt's hit with nothing, and he walks out of this with nothing on his name in terms of a charge, a show cause, nothing, then he could be back as something even bigger than an analyst. He could be back as an on-field position coach. Very well can be. If he's hit with something just of the minor of minors, just to hit him with something, and that doesn't hurt Alabama, then Pruitt could come to Alabama as an analyst. The way it's looking right now, he could be back on the staff in any way, shape, form, or capacity. And that's the main thing. Just find some way to have Pruitt back at Alabama in any way, shape, form, or capacity where this defense is concerned, where the energy is concerned in terms of the program. So as we get more information on Pruitt, we will definitely funnel that out there to you guys. But that's what I've heard from this point is it's looking more and more so like Pruitt may not be hit with much of anything at all from the situation in Tennessee, and he could be back at Alabama, at the very least, a defensive analyst. But 205-448-1358, but I'm going to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358, the number right there to call in. But going to our quick call topic right now, this one being on Tua Tagovailoa as the Miami Dolphins continuing to do things that affirm Tua as their guy, at least for this season here, or this upcoming season in the fall. And what Miami has done, they did not pursue Lamar Jackson in that whole conversation talks deals there. The Ravens hit Lamar Jackson with a non-exclusive franchise tag, meaning if other teams want to go to Baltimore and get Lamar Jackson, pay more than the Ravens to get him, they could do so. Miami chose not to go that route. Mike McDaniel really likes Tua. He believes Tua is the perfect fit for the system that he runs in Miami. And let's be honest, prior to the concussions that took place, Tua was having a rock star year. I mean, led the NFL in passer rating, 105.5. 3,548 passing yards, career high. 25 touchdown passes, career high. Against Lamar Jackson, he outplayed him. 469 passing yards, 6 touchdowns. Dolphins beat the Ravens 42-38. So when Tua's healthy, he's the real deal. And Mike McDaniel knows this. Owner Chris Greer knows this. GM Chris Greer knows this. They all know this. The main thing is, can Tua just remain available more on the field? This is the reason why he's taken 2 mixed martial arts. He's taken judo and jiu-jitsu to learn how to fall, slide down, protect himself, protect his head, protect his body. That's what Tua's doing this offseason to assure himself that he can be available more on the field for the Dolphins. But Miami not pursuing the whole Lamar Jackson thing, showing Tua that, hey, you're the guy. We believe in you. Just stay healthy. We go to a break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we go into an update of the Alabama football roster. So many players have gained weight. Some have lost weight. But Nick Saban has the key on more physicality with this team. We'll get into it after this.
Touchdown. Touchdown Alabama magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action right here from the break on Behind the Show on the Streets here. Talking your Crimson Tide football news in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. Continue hitting the like button. Tap the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Make this your spot to talk Alabama football. All donations welcome and appreciated as well. That daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily Super Chat Go. We thank you guys. But gentlemen, look at here. The University of Alabama football program updated the roster in terms of the players' height, weight gain, weight losses. Saban focused on the physicality of this year's this year's group here. Trying to get back to being tough, trying to get back to being physical, trying to get back to imposing your will on the opposition, physically beating down the opponent, as well as having the mental edge over your opponent. But several weight gains, weight dropped, right here in the updated roster from the strength and conditioning program, the fourth quarter program. And starting this thing off here on the offensive line, how about Seth McLaughlin one time? And this was the one guy on the offensive line that people would say, I mean, he's tough, he's scrappy, he's physical, but doesn't have the weight right now. Can you get the weight up on him? Seth McLaughlin has officially he's cracked the 300-pound threshold. When he came to Alabama in the 2020 class from Beaufort, Georgia, McLaughlin was 280 pounds. His last couple of years at Alabama, he's hovered around 290, 295. He's now at 302. So Seth McLaughlin has cracked the 300-pound threshold, which is big. Because if you look at this offensive line, this group projected here, you talk J.C. Latham, Tyler Booker, McLaughlin, Caden Proctor, the five-star freshman, could see himself in there as a starter, and then Elijah Pritchett. All these guys averaging, the height-wise at 6'5", the weight now over 300 pounds. So Seth McLaughlin, the one thing people wanted to see him do, add some more healthy pounds to a 6'4" frame. He's done that. He's now at 302, cracking that 300-pound threshold. That was huge there for Seth McLaughlin. As we look at now, in terms of the defensive line here, Bama's defensive linemen, they've dropped some weight, but they've got some speed. They've got some quickness. They've got some burst. And they're looking to play with more aggression. When you talk Jaheim Otis, we have seen his weight loss journey going from 416 to, according to RoadTide.com, he's at 328 pounds. But according to Jaheim Otis himself on Twitter, he's down to 316 pounds. So Jaheim Otis losing a whole 100 pounds. Lighter on his feet, quicker, going to be more explosive, playing with much more aggression. You look at Tim Smith, he came in from Florida in that 2020 class at 340 pounds. Tim Smith is now down to 302 pounds. So lighter on his feet, quicker, more burst, more explosion, gonna be able to play with much more aggression to him. Tim Smith down from 340 when he first came to now 302. Jamil Burrows at a McEachern High School in the Atlanta, Georgia area, he came in the 2020 class at 330. He's now down to 309. smaller, like a bit smaller, faster, quicker, explosive, trying to play with more aggression to him in his game. And this is a big year for both Smith and Burrows because they both came as monsters in that 2020 class and flashed some potential. They've got to put it all together now, especially when you look at guys like Damon Payne behind them and Tim Keenan III and Big James Smith. You got guys behind you. So now a big year here for Burrows and Tim Smith. When you look at Chris Braswell in terms of the linebacker room, Chris Braswell is now the biggest linebacker in the room at 255 pounds. Chris Braswell came into Alabama at 220. He's now got the strength to really sustain at the point of attack, really shut down the run, really shed off tackles and offensive guards and get to the quarterback. He can now really convert speed to power and create some stuff at 255 pounds. So Chris Braswell, biggest linebacker in the room in terms of outside backers, inside backers as well. When you look at the Alabama defensive secondary, these guys have put on some weight to reroute receivers, be physical with receivers, but also box out receivers and get in front of those guys in terms of playing the ball, creating some turnovers here. You look at Kool-Aid McKinstry. He came in at 180 pounds. Kool-Aid is now 196. Close to that 200-pound mark there as an outside boundary corner. You look at Terrion Arnold. He came in 185 pounds. He's now at 195 pounds. He's about to crossing that mark of 200 pounds. Malachi Moore came in 180 pounds. He's now at 198. So he's added some physicality to his frame there. Starting to look like a safety a little bit there is Malachi Moore. And you look at Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs came in, 190, I think, 190, 195. He's now 203. So Caleb Downs has cracked that 200-pound threshold. Tony Mitchell has cracked that 200-pound threshold at 205, according to RoadTide.com. So this Alabama defensive backfield, physical. Christian Story has gone from 206. He's at 212. So these Alabama DBs have put on some weight. They put on some muscle to be able to tackle, to help out in the run support, make those big hits, cover guys, but most importantly, be physical and rerouting receivers, bumping them off the route, and also boxing out receivers in terms of being in perfect phase, going up there, creating those turnovers. You look at the quarterback room here, Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson have put on weight. Ty Simpson now at 203. Jalen Milroe's now a hefty 220. So Jalen Milroe bucking it now at 6'2", 220 pounds. The big thing with Milroe, we've all talked about it, can he fine-tune his game, tweak it a bit more as a passer, accurately distributing the football with timing and ball placement. But he's now at 220 pounds. The last thing here, guys, the wide receiver room looking to separate itself from DBs with the route running and physicality. Isaiah Bond came in 175 pounds. Isaiah Bond is now at 183. So he's added some weight to his frame. You look at Shaz Preston. He came 6 feet 190. Shaz Preston now at 202 pounds. He's added some weight to him. Looking forward to see what Shaz Preston could do, on the field there. You look at Kobe Prentice. Prentice came in at 175. Prentice is now at over 190 pounds. So guys are adding weight. Guys are adding physicality. Guys are adding bulk there to their frame, and not just get open speed-wise, but show DBs, hey, you cannot jam me at the line of scrimmage. I got some size now. I can get off your jam. I can get off your press coverage now. So you've got receivers adding weight. You've got DBs adding weight. You've got Chris Braswell, biggest linebacker in the room. You've got Seth McLaughlin adding weight. And now you got defensive linemen dropping weight, but still looking to play with aggression here with the athleticism, the quickness, and the explosiveness, and get into the backfield to create some havoc there. But we go to a break right here, folks, on Touch That Down. When we get back, we return to the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your chats. We get into a conversation with you, the Bama fans, after this.
Chris Rogers, 2009 national champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian, or Jameer.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling right here with you to the hottest show in these streets, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. We're already over 70 likes at 74. Let's get this thing to 100 likes on the channel, on the show. Hit that thumbs up right there. Give us that thumbs up right here on the show. Tap that like button. Appreciate the support from all of you. And the donations rolling in as well, as we got Katera 1983 with that $9.99. And the super chats dropping the love in the bucket right there. Appreciate Katera. We got Brian Watson with that $4.99 in the super chats as well. Appreciate Brian. We got Randy Harris with that $5.02 in the super chats. We got my man Tobias dropping that 20 piece in the super chats. Appreciate all of you making this your show here, your platform to talk Crimson Tide football. Daily super chat go $100. Daily super chat goal right there. Randy Harris actually has a super chat question. He writes in, how much do you believe Bama will turn into another no-fly zone team? Good question there, Randy. It depends on how the secondary stacks up, right? How's the secondary stack up? You know one corner is going to be concretely Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's returning back as a boundary corner. Is Terrion Arnold the other boundary corner? Do you move Terrion Arnold to safety, especially with the growth that Earl Little II is making right now? I mean, do you make that move? In the sub package, when you look at the nickel spot, that star position that Brian Branch played last year, do you put Malachi Moore back there? Do you start Caleb Downs as that nickel, as your two safeties? I mean, you got guys. Malachi Moore can play safety. Christian Story can play safety. Devontae Smith can play safety. Terrion Arnold can play safety. Caleb Downs can play safety. You got a lot of guys that can play safety. So where does that come into? I think once we hammer out who the 5 to 6 guys are for that secondary, then we can really see what no-fly zone could potentially look like. But the pieces are there. The pieces are there. It's just how does it all fall into place here? That's the main question there, Randy. But we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. Here we grab this one. You're live on the show. What's happening? What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
Jay, what's up, brother?
Chilling, man. Been on that clock, man. Been working my little tail off, man. I'm off ready to talk that old Bama football, man.
I mean, we ready for it, Jay. Spring ball kicks up March 20th, man. 2 weeks. They're going to be back out there on the field, throwing the football, popping pads, grass cut. All of it returns in the next 2 weeks.
I'm ready, man. I'm excited, but I'm ready to see what our line of scrimmage is going to look like, man. We got to get back to that old Bama toughness, man. Breaking people's will up front and just completely dominating for 4 quarters. Like that'll be fantastic to watch. And run the daggum ball this year. We got 15 running backs, Steve. Richard Young probably running back number 5, and he can go anywhere in the nation today and start. So we need. I really feel like we need to just pound the ball, dominate on the line of scrimmages, and let our athletes be athletes, man, because Pete wasn't putting people in the right position. Neither was Bill. We need to see folks out there being athletes because that's what got them here. But I ain't really want that, man. I really love the show. You do a great job, Steve, man. Roll Tide, y'all. I love y'all. Roll Tide, Alabama. We going to bring it back home, right? The Natty coming back home. Just enjoy little brother over there. Little brother, he happy. He doing his thing. We give him a little pat on the tail. Good job, brother. You got your 2 But for the rest of this decade, I'm gonna have to put it on you. I'm finna have to put it on you, and it's gonna start this year, hopefully. But Roll Tide, y'all. I love y'all, man.
Appreciate my man Jay from Florence calling in right there. Everybody juiced up, hyped up. Spring practice is coming in the next 2 weeks. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? This is Tobias, man, out here in Fresno. How you doing, champion?
Doing good. Tobias, what's going on, brother?
Oh, man, it's all good, man. You've been running some good shows. I've been having to catch you on the replay. Ain't been able to catch you live, man, working and grinding, serving the people of God and just trying to be a blessing to the community. So been out, but all your topics have been on point, man. And can y'all please bring back maybe this spring when you used to have those little surveys, the little polls. You do the little polls. You would talk about a topic, and we would try to figure out what you was thinking, and we would all vote, and then you would tell us, what you were thinking and stuff. Man, that was a lot of fun, man. Keep everybody engaged. But I'm glad all of the subscribers are going up and all of that. But I've been a little. I'm listening to some of the pundits, man, and I'm doing a wait and see approach, man, because our receiver room, unless somebody really steps up, we haven't had this. We haven't been in this place in a long time where we haven't had a proven commodity, coming into spring. Each year we always have had even a freshman that would come out and start, shining. And last year there were spots of greatness, man, but it never gelled. To the conversation about the new coaches, man, I'm doing a wait and see again, man, because in 2016 when Nick Saban basically let everybody go after we lost to Clemson, I think that was the year, yeah. We beat them the first time, and then we lost to them that year. A whole lot of coaches went out the door, but so I'm just trusting old St. Nick and seeing how this comes. I'm glad that he did get some young coaches. They don't have a lot of experience, but when you look at the coach that came from Liberty, man, that means he knows the whole playbook. For that what's the man that did the unclean stuff, and anyway, he ended up being the coach of Liberty. I don't know why. At the end of the day, man, I'm drawing a blank. Coach at Auburn.
Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze. Sorry about that, man. Yeah, so he kind of got caught up in some stuff. Anyway, but that coach coming from there, he has that whole playbook. And so you see what the Notre Dame coach is bringing. He's bringing analysts and stuff like that. So the team, I think, is coming together. I'm real happy with Steele because I feel like Steele has seen just about everything and will be able to get the boys, number one, playing, not being their friend or nothing like that, but get them playing and get them in the right position so they can play fast. Pete Golding, some said he did bad. Some did, it was didn't do too. They did good. I was kind of in the middle with Golden, but I do know that Tennessee game, I changed my mind about that. It was the Tennessee game that flipped me to say, "Oh man, Golden got to go." Because you can't have 50 points hung on the Alabama team, man. That's just unacceptable. So for me, it was done. at that point with him. And so I'm just hoping the new coaches can get together. I'm not so happy with the D lineman losing all this weight, but I'll just have to trust it because it seems as though, man, the team that can go big when they want to is going to be the team that actually has the best chance. And Georgia did it last year, but Georgia did do it without playing us. And I don't know if you remember, but I was hollering on this line, irritated, because here it is, we beat, the Big 12 champions, who, and then number 2 Big 12 person went on into the playoffs and, of course, got beat down, got bludgeoned by Georgia. And if anybody thinks that Georgia would have done that to Alabama, you are out of your mind. So that was just a frustrating thing because last year to me could have been another year where I still believe we should have been in the playoffs. I'm confused real quick, man. You brought up some of the defensive players. I've been waiting to see that kid Little, that cornerback. I've been wondering about him, reading little things on him, wondering if he can break into the starting role. Terrion Arnold, he did have his shot. Maybe he'll get better. But when he was out there, he couldn't find the ball, man. He really struggled. So I have no confidence in him as a corner. But maybe, he can do it. Maybe he can. But I'm really interested to see about this Little. Kool-Aid is going to lock it down. Jaheim is going to control the middle. And I am happy with what we got with these linebackers. We got these 2 JUCO. We got that JUCO receiver that I'm hoping can emerge to be the number 1 based on the tape that I've seen of that kid. And then we also have that JUCO linebacker who's underweight. He's about 220 pounds, but they say he runs like a 4.3. So I'm just wondering how we're going to use him as a Swiss Army knife like they used to use that Clemson kid. So anyway, big hopes. Can't wait to see spring ball. Man, I'm always watching your show, even on the replay. Man, keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep supporting. Roll Tide.
Appreciate my man Tobias calling from Fresno right there. And to answer his question on Earl Little II, that's the guy that I want to see take the other corner spot. Nothing against Terrion Arnold. Like Terrion, but when you have a guy in Earl Little of whom father played in the NFL, played 9 seasons in the league, and then Little's high school coach at American Heritage down there in South Florida was Patrick Surtain that played big pro ball. You got 2 NFL minds. One of them's your pops coaching you. You've got a skill set that, is going to very much so transition. So I would like to see Earl Little take the other corner spot and then put Terrion at safety, because to me, I felt like he played out of position last year. And he played out of position out of necessity because Alabama did not have another corner it could trust aside from Terrion. And Eli Ricks, I don't know what the situation was, why he just could not get on the field soon enough prior to the Mississippi State game, whether it was didn't practice the right way or wasn't brought into the program or was some deal with ego. I don't know what it was, but Terrion Arnold had to play corner out of necessity last year. And I feel like if you put Earl Little in that spot and shift Terrion to safety, I think you would see a much better performance from him as a safety versus a corner. But we will see how this secondary all comes into play in spring practice. But cool topic right here in terms of Coach Saban. He had an interview with Sports Illustrated a few days ago, and he was he discussed quite a few topics, but the one big one was, once again, NIL and this current NIL, name, image, and likeness culture. And Saban has never been one against paying players and having players be compensated. He's always been for that. The one thing he's been questioning is, can we get some regulation to this? Because now players are not coming to these universities to enhance their value or to grow their value. They're coming to these universities to see, okay, how much money can I get? How big is your NIL collective? It's not, how can I better my future, enhance my future, better my life, better my experience. It's the moment I get on campus, what is going to be my NIL collective? And we've all kind of opened that can of worms by providing this NIL but not having any type of boundaries or precaution or regulation in play for it. So if you start something off as the Wild Wild West, it's kind of hard to kind of corral that thing. It's difficult. We're just now starting to see some type of parameter or parameters put in place to reel it in some. And this is all that Nick Saban is asking for. He's not asking for NIL to stop completely. No. He's just saying, okay, is there some type of boundary going to be put in place because there's a change into the guard, if you will. These young athletes are not going to college to get just the education anymore. They're not going to college just to try to better or enhance, their value or their lives anymore. It's, I'm coming here because I know I'm going to get X number of millions of dollars of NIL. Show me the collective. Show me the money. That's become the mindset now for these athletes. And so for Coach Saban, he wants to see when can some regulation occur. Do we have to make this a federal thing in terms of the regulation? So that's what Saban's trying to get to the bottom of and trying to crack here. But hey, I mean, he's always been one. If something's not right, college football, you can always count on Coach Saban to voice his opinion. Everybody may not agree with his opinion. Everybody may think like he's whining and complaining when he makes his opinion, but he's always not just calculated, but also very thought-provoking, and he makes you think when he brings his thought there to the table. But we take our final break here, folks. We'll touch that down because when we get back, I'm going to discuss why, this Bama football team is in a transitionary period, but how the transitionary period could actually really help this program. We'll talk about it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, here we are, hottest show on the streets, talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate all of you calling in, writing in, texting in, chatting in, donating in, hitting that like button and that subscribe button as well, making this your network to talk Tide football. But final discussion here of today's show, John, and that is, Bama football kind of in a transitionary period at this time. And, why is this a good thing for Tide football? And then how does this transition, help Alabama get back to what it wants to accomplish, which is a national championship? And just for me, this season upcoming, it draws so many parallels to the 2014 season. Remember, from 2007 to 2013, Alabama ran a pro-style offense. It was heavy run game, heavy 12 personnel of tight ends, heavy play action pass, quarterback, just manage what's going on, play through your defense and your run game. That was 2007 through 2013. And that was successful, right? Alabama, through that style of football, won 3 national championships, 2009, 2011, 2012. It won back-to-back national championships, 2011 and 2012. It got a Heisman Trophy winner, Mark Ingram, 2009. A lot of good things came out of that style of football. A lot of good things. But the game started to change with more things trending toward the offense. The spread style was starting to really take center stage. You start to see differences in how defenses would recruit particular players to stop or limit the success of the spread offense. And so Coach Saban knew, I'm in a transitionary period in college football. Let me get somebody that can give us a facelift, us an upgrade here offensively. Now, a lot of people didn't like it when Lane Kiffin came in at first, but that was exactly what Coach Saban and Alabama needed in terms of the transitionary period. During that time, you had just graduated A.J. McCarron off to the NFL, so you had an unproven situation at quarterback. Everybody was saying Blake Sims is not it. Blake Sims is not the guy. You have a Jacob Coker here, 6'5", 230-plus pounds, coming over from Florida State. Big arm, big talent, big potential, big ability. This is the quarterback right here. But we all know the story. In the transitionary period, Lane Kiffin comes in, gives the offense a facelift, has all the trust in the world in Blake Sims, instills the confidence in Blake Sims. Blake becomes the guy. And in the first year of a transition of a facelift, Alabama gets to the college football playoff, comes close to beating Ohio State in the semifinal game. The very next year with Jacob Coker and Lane Kiffin, you win the national championship. And Derrick Henry wins the Heisman Trophy in year 2 of a transition year. So start off in 2014, you had to make a transition. How did it help Alabama? It helped Alabama by getting it to a national championship, which it won, and it produced a second Heisman Trophy winner in Derrick Henry. So here we go with this Alabama team in a transition period. Bryce Young, you graduate him off to the NFL after all the accolades and awards that he was able to accomplish. You are unproven at your quarterback position in terms of experience when you look at Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, despite the fact that Jalen Milroe played in quite a few games last year, including a start against Texas A&M where he did throw 3 touchdown passes. You're still unproven as far as having that guy at the quarterback position that has seen bullets flying for, 1 or 2 or so years. So you're unproven at quarterback. And you bring over a Tommy Rees from Notre Dame, what does he do? He specializes in 12 personnel, using your tight ends. He specializes in heavy run game, having a balance in that rushing attack, ground and pound. He specializes in play-action pass, taking deep shots downfield, much like Lane Kiffin did. And Tommy Rees specializes in developing, molding quarterbacks. Did it with Brandon Wimbush. Did it with Brandon Wimbush. Did it with Ian Book. Did it with Jack Cohn as a transfer from Indiana. Did it also with Drew Pine. So developer of quarterbacks is Tommy Rees. He comes in here to develop the unproven quarterback situation at the University of Alabama. Another part of this transitionary period would be having a new defensive coordinator. Now, yes, of course, you have Kevin Steele back, who started off at Alabama in 2007, but he comes back in here as the DC to get this defense back playing fearsome, back playing, having the respect factor, back playing ferocious, back playing elite, dominant style, fast, physical football. He's a guy that's not going to take no nonsense. He's not going to be no buddy type of coach. He's going to get in your butt. He's going to get in your grill. That style of coaching, it may run some people off, but the people that want that style of coaching, hey, they're going to stick around and get with that style of coaching, playing to and playing for one Kevin Steele. So you can pull a lot of parallels between the 2014 team and this team right here. Going back to defense, that 2014 team, you didn't know who the leaders were going to be on that defense. It was kind of trial by fire. Remember, that defense graduated C.J. Mosley off to the NFL. And so 2014, people thought, Trey DePriest was going to be the guy at middle linebacker. The dude actually became Reggie Ragland. Landon Collins had to grow on that team. Several guys defensively had to grow on that team. So you look at this team here, the inside linebacker position, Deontay Lawson played quite a bit this past year, but who plays next to him? people want to say, hey, it's Kendrick Blackshaw time. And I believe it's the time for the love child of Reuben Foster and Mack Wilson. We're going to see. Is it Kendrick Blackshaw time? Or do we see a Jihad Campbell or a Sean Murphy or a Justin Jefferson, the transfer from JUCO, or a Tresman Marshall, the transfer from Georgia? Do we see somebody else take this job? Or could it be the freshman big man Quay Rusall from Carver High School who steps in here and takes his job day one? Transitionary period, right? So that's where we are in terms of this Alabama football team. But can the guys making this transition, whether it's at quarterback, whether it's at linebacker, whether it's at safety, whether it's at wide receiver, can the guys making the transition along with the coaches helping them make this transition get Alabama to a national championship? That's the big thing. That's the big question. At the end of the day, other teams are judged by Alabama, and Alabama is judged by how many championships can Alabama win. It's a whole different spectrum. It's a whole different projection here. Every team is projected to Alabama. Alabama's projected by championships. So in this transition, coaches, quarterback room, defense, among other things, can all of this mesh together, gel together, work together to get Alabama the ultimate goal. It worked in 2014 because the very next year, in year 2 of the transition project, Bama got the national championship. Can it work here in year 1 to where out the gate in the first year of this transition, Tommy Rees, Kevin Steele, they get this offense and this defense to a national championship and win it all. And that's the reason why spring football this time around is so pivotal. This A-Day game is so critical. It's crucial. And if you're an Alabama fan, you need to be breaking down the door getting into Bryant-Denny Stadium because it is big, massive spring. So much newness, so much different things happening. And if you're trying to get to a national championship and win it all, it starts this spring right here in terms of undercutting the success that's happening where the Georgia Bulldogs go. But as always, folks, you want the best news, notes, information, entertainment, conversation. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. Now, you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'd like to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description if you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link found in the description as well. Gotta give a shout out to you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all the phone calls, all the tweets, all the chats, all the super chats, the conversations. You making this your stop shop, your network here to talk Bama football. We appreciate that. Gotta show some love to my man John Ivory in the production studio, handling that business behind the scenes right there. And until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands, children. You guys continue doing the right thing, good thing, smart thing, fun thing, legitimate thing there to not be bored. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.